सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं कर्वावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Okay, so we had finished Karika number 6, and so we shall chant Karika number 7. So we'll chant it. Vibhutim prasavam tvanye.
Vibhutim prasavam tvanye.
Manyante srishti chintakaha.
Manyante srishchintakaha.
Swapna maya swarupeti.
Swapnamaya sarupeti.
Srishtir anye vikalpitaha.
Srishtiranya kalpita.
Okay, so I'll just mute you. So we had finished with the discussions on the three padas, and that summary is being given. And here, the slight diversion, and the Gaudapada is talking about the views of other darshanas, right? So he is talking about that here. Vibhutim prasavam tvanye manyante srishti chintakaha. So you have to look at the two, but however, anye, that tvanye has to be broken. Tu plus anye. So anye srishti chintakaha. So anye means other people. Srishti chintakaha means people who have theories about Srishti, about creation. So philosophers, cosmologists, people who analyze creation. So Anye Srishti Chintakaha, there are other philosophers who talk about creation. Prasavam. Prasavam is creation. What do they say? Vibhutim prasavam. Prasavam literally means birth. So here we are talking about the birth of the universe. So Vibhutim prasavam means this creation is considered as Vibhuti of the Lord. So some of the philosophers, some darshanas, they say that this creation is a glory of the Lord, and therefore, of course, there is a corollary there. Since the Lord is real, his creation must also be real. That is that what they analyze and say that the Jagat is real because the Lord is real. Jagat is Satyam because Lord is Satyam. So that's a diversion from our views. And then Anyehe Srishtihi Vikalpitaha. So Vikalpita is an alternative. So here you can use it in the terms of comparing. So Anyehe Srishti Vikalpitaha. There are other people who compare creation to what? Swapna Maya Sarupeti. That is, they think it is like Swapna and Maya. Two analogies are there. So the creation is called Maya here, and here Maya means not Trigunatmika Maya, but it is the magic of the magician. So Mayana is the magician, Maya is the magic, and therefore some, for example, like the Vishwamitra, who created the Swarga for Trishanku. So that is what is it? That is the example given. Like Vishwamitra created another creation for Trishanku out of nothing. So here also the magician materializes things out of nothing. So just as a magician materializes things out of nothing, Ishvara creates the world out of nothing. And in his commentary, Shankara gives the example of the magic show, the Mayavi's show. What does a Mayavi do? So this is this is called the famous rope trick. So I have never seen it, but you can see descriptions of it. What happens is that the magician has a rope. He throws the rope up, and the rope stays absolutely straight like a pole. Then the magician climbs the pole and vanishes from our sight, right? That is, and then you hear him fighting a lot of invisible enemies. He is no longer in our sight, right? He is fighting a lot of enemies. What do the enemies do? They cut the magician into many pieces. So one by one, the magician's hands, legs, etc., they fall down into a vision. They come into a vision because they're falling down from the upper place where he is fighting, and they're all bleeding. So after everything falls, we all think the magician is dead. But what happens? After some time, the magician comes back. So the whole thing is an illusion. The magician had never left the stage, but we had lost sight of the magician because of all the more interesting things happening, like climbing the rope, fighting, limbs falling, etc. Right? This is a comparison. And the comparison is what? That this Brahman, this Turiam, the fourth pada, the Turiam, is like the Mayavi, the magician. And the bodies, the three bodies, are like the ropes. And therefore, similar to the rope being thrown up and suddenly manifesting into a pole, similarly, say Shankara, the three bodies, Sukshma, Thula, and Karna Shriram, are manifestations only, they're illusions only. And the three bodies are represented by what? By the magician climbing the rope. Now remember that magician climbing the rope, magician is Turyam Brahman. The rope are the three bodies. So the combination, that is the connection of the magician with the rope, that is being taken as Chidabhasa, the reflection in the three bodies. Very nice example. But really speaking, if you are looking at the magic show, other than the rope and the magician who climbs the rope, so in Tattva terms, other than the three bodies and the magician climbing the rope. So three bodies are one because the three bodies are in contact with the magician Brahman. What is that? Brahman plus three bodies is the RC. Therefore, other than the three bodies and the RC, Shankara says there is another one who is not seen. And what is that? Paramartha Mayavi, the real magician, the real Turiam. He is very much there, but he is not seen because we are focusing on the magic show, not on the magician. Similarly, the Turiam Brahman is not visible to us because we are distracted by all the various aspects of Maya, the very Jagat itself. Right? So Shankara concludes by saying, in the same way that the magician has to be concluded, the identity of the magician, the presence of the magician on the stage is established by what? By the fact that without him, the rope could not stand straight. Without him, nobody would climb the rope. Without him, the fighting would not be there. Without him, the bleeding limbs will not be falling. And therefore, that the same way, nothing can happen in this world without Turiam Brahman being present. And the Turiam Brahman has to be known how? Through an inquiry. So that's one very nice little example presented by saying Swapna, Maya. The Maya part we saw. So now we have to see the Swapna part. So there are two examples, the Swapna and the Maya. The Maya part we saw. What is the Swapna part? Srishti Chintaka Anyehe. So there are other people also. One set of people, one set of philosophers, they talk about Maya, that magic show. The other set of people, they talk about Swapna, the dream. And according to these people, the dream is a real one, not a mithya one. According to Vedanta, what is it? We create the dream. But according to these people, the Lord creates a dream. And for them, since Lord creates a dream, and Lord also creates Jagrata Avastha, for these people, the dream Avastha is as real as Jagrata Avastha because both are created by the Lord. For Vedanta, we say Lord creates the world, the cosmic mind, Maya, creates the world, but the individual dream is not created by the cosmic mind. It is created by the individual mind. There's a difference. But for these people, these philosophers, they say the individual dream also is created by the Lord's mind only. Right? For example, Vishishta Advaita. He says Jagat is as real as Swapna. The Satyam status of Jagat is as real as Satyam status of Swapna for the Vishishta Advaitin. Because for him, for the Vishishta Advaitin, Swapna is also Ishvara Srishti and Jagrat Avastha is also Ishvara Srishti. But for us, for the Vedantin, we say Jagrat Avastha is Ishvara Srishti, yes. But the dream, Swapna Avastha, is created by my mind. Therefore, it is Jiva Srishti. So, that's some of the other views are being discussed. And in the next Karika also, you will find that there is another discussion of a few more views. So we'll look at Karika number 8. Please unmute yourself. We'll chant. Ichha matram prabho srishti.
Ichha matram prabho srishti.
Iti srishtau vinischitaha.
Iti srishtau vinischitaha.
Kalat prasutim bhutanam.
Kala prasutanam.
Manyante kala chintakaha.
Manyante kala chintakaha.
Okay, so more of other views. So, Ichha Matram Prabhoho Srishti. Some other philosophers, some other darshanas, they believe that Srishti, creation, is created by Prabhu, the Lord. How? Ichha Matram, by willpower alone, by mere Sankalpa alone. Why? Because Ishvara is Satya Sankalpaha. Satya Sankalpa means the one whose Sankalpa, thought, becomes a fact. So this is very nice philosophy. It says that Ishvara's thoughts convert themselves into events, and therefore Satya Sankalpaha Ishvara is, which means every Sankalpa of his, every thought of his becomes Satyam, becomes reality, and therefore only Ichha Matram Prabho Srishti. The Lord creates simply by thinking about it. And Shankara comments saying that this is Sankalpa Matram. Na Sankalpane Atiriktam. It means apart from Sankalpa, there is nothing else involved. There is no raw material, no contractors, nobody. Lord thinks and this Srishti comes. Then Kalat Prasutim is another set of philosophers. Kalat Prasutim Bhutanam Manyante Kalachintakaha. So Kalachintaka is people who talk about Srishti, creation, as happening in time. And therefore this Kalachintaka, he believes that all creation happens in time. So it's an evolution theory. In due course, evolution will come. And therefore, Kalat Prasutim, everything is born. Bhutanam Kalat Prasutim. All beings are born from time alone. So this is basically the scientific theory of evolution. Ultimately, in time only, everything can happen. There is no sudden birth of human beings. It has to happen in time through a process of evolution only. Okay. Now we look at Karika number 9. We will chant. Bhogartham srishtirityanye.
Bhogartham srishtirityanye.
Srishtir ityanye.
Srishtirityanye.
Kridartham iti chapare.
Kridarthamiti chapare.
Devasyaisha swabhavoyam.
Devasyaisha swabhavoyam.
Aptakamasya ka spruhaha.
Aptakamasya kaspriha.
Okay. So now we are talking about Bhogartham Anyehe Srishtihi iti. So these are separate set of philosophers who say that Srishti is created for Bhoga, for the enjoyment of the Lord. So Bhogartham means for the purpose of enjoyment. And who is going to enjoy Srishti? Obviously the creator. Therefore, Srishtir Anye Bhogartham iti. The Lord creates the Srishti for the purpose of his own enjoyment. So that is one set of philosophers. Then, Kridartham iti chapare. Apare. There are another set of philosophers who say that creation is created Krida Artham. For the Krida means sport, Leela. So they say that, these people say that Bhagavan creates the entire Srishti as a Leela, as a sport. So slight mild difference there. One is for enjoyment and one is as a sport. Then comes Gaudapada. He says, Devasyaisha swabhavo ayam aptakamasya kasprihaha. So he says, this Devasyaisha, Esha, you have to break it up properly. Esha ayam swabhavaha devasya. So Esha ayam swabhavaha devasya. This creation is the Eshaha. This creation is what? Devasya Swabhavaha. It is really the nature of the Lord. And why does he say so? Aptakamasya kaspraha. For the one, Aptakamaha. Aptakamaha is the one whose desires are always fulfilled, who has no other desires. Like the moment he desires, therefore Aptakama means Purnaha, ever fulfilled one. He doesn't have any kama at all. Before he can desire, it is fulfilled. So apta kamasya kaspraha, for the one who is always purnaha, where is the question of having any desire at all? And therefore that's the logic. He says the Lord is ever fulfilled, apta kamaha. And kaspraha, where is the question of any desire being there for enjoyment? Therefore the conclusion is what? Eshaha swabhavaha ayam devasya. This creation is actually the nature of the Lord. There is no difference of creation from the Lord. The creation is not separate from Brahman. So there are two words which we should know. One is Swarupam and one is Swabhavaha. They can normally be taken as the same meaning, right? Swarupam means the very nature, Swabhava means the very character. But when we talk about Ishvara and we use the words Swarupam and Swabhavaha, there is a difference. What is the Swarupam of Brahman? Sat Chit Ananda. But when you talk about Swabhava of Brahman, you have to say Maya is the Swabhava of Brahman. So nature and character, there is a difference. One is intrinsic, one is dependent upon. So Swarupam is Paramarthika Satyam. Swabhava is Maya, Vyavaharika Satyam. Right? And here, of course, we have to add that therefore Bhagavan has never created this world. This world has always been there as an intrinsic, non-separatable part of Ishvara himself. Right. Now, there is a question. If there has been no creation, and it has always been there as the very nature of the Lord, as a very intrinsic part of Ishvara, what is it there? In Srishti Kalaha, in the time when the world is manifest, this nature is in manifest form. And in Pralaya Kalaha, this nature is still there in unmanifest form. Right? So, what are we saying? That this, whether the universe is manifest or unmanifest, whether it is Srishti Kalaha or Pralaya Kalaha, this Maya this Maya, Vyakta, Avyakta Maya, it is an intrinsic part of the Lord and therefore not separatable from the Lord. And if that is so, will not all the problems of Srishti belong to the Lord? Because if something is non-separatable from you, all the problems will be felt by you also. And therefore the Lord will the Lord not become a samsari, a maha samsari, because every problem in the universe is his problem only. What is the answer? Creation is indeed an intrinsic part of the Lord. Maya is indeed non-separatable from Ishvara, but there is a big difference. Vedanta says Maya is Vyavaharika Satyam and Brahman is Paramarthika Satyam. A lower order of reality cannot affect a higher order of reality. Just like the dream tiger cannot harm you, the waker, right? Just as my shadow cannot affect me, even if a truck goes over my shadow, nothing happens to me because the shadow has a lower level of reality. Therefore, something which has a lower level of reality will never affect the Satyam. Therefore, the Jagat in Mithya form is existing in Ishvara all the time. Ishvara has two components, Brahman and Jagat, Mithya, Maya in Mithya form. But because of the Mithya nature, because of the Paramarthika nature of Maya, Brahman who is, because of the Vyavaharika nature of Maya, Brahman who is Paramarthika is not affected. Right? So, with this ninth Karika, the commentary or the analysis of the first 6 mantras have been completed. And what did we see? In these mantras, in the six mantras, as well as the Kaarikas, what did we see? The first 3 padas of Chatushpada Atma, right? We talked about Brahman as having 4 padas, 4 aspects. And the first 3 aspects were there. They have been talked about, they have been discussed. The first aspect was what? Thula Atma. Thula Atma is in Jagrad Avastha. The second is what? Sukshma Atma. Sukshma Atma is in which avastha? Swapna avastha. And the third is Karana Atma, obtaining in Sushupti avastha. So these are 3 padas. Thula Atma, Sukshma Atma, Karana Atma. Each pada is nothing but Turyam, consciousness principle, Brahman itself, associated with a specific Nama Rupa. So Sthula Atma is associated with Sthula Nama Rupa. Sukshma Atma associated with Sukshma Nama Rupa. Karana Atma associated with Karana Nama Rupa. And of course, we saw that each pada itself is divided into 2. What are they? Sthula Atma is divided into the knower and the known. Right? The waker is the knower and the Jagrat Prapancha is the known. In Sukshma Atma, dreamer is the knower and Sukshma Prapancha, the dream world, is the known. In Karana Atma, the sleeper is the knower and the Karana Prapancha is the known. Right? This Karana Prapancha is experienced as total blankness and total Ananda. Therefore, in each pada, there is a mixture of the knower and the known, the Pramata and the Prameyam. So these 3 pairs of Pramata and Prameyam, they constitute the first 3 padas. What remains? The 4th pada remains. So Sthula Atma we have seen, Sukshma Atma we have seen, Karana Atma we have seen. The 4th pada is Surya Atma that we have to now see. That will be start with mantra number 7. Not Karika. We are back to the mantras. So before that, any question?
Charaji,
Yeah.
the last part of the discussion, when we talk about we talk about that the one whose desires are always fulfilled, and that was not clear for me when
Sorry, please
we
come again. One who is what?
in the last explanation you were making about this, when we talk about that this creation is really the nature of the Lord, for
Yes.
the one whose desires are always fulfilled, that I got lost in that reasoning.
So it's the concept of Purnatvam, right?
Mhm.
No, you have to understand where desires come from. If you think you are not fulfilled, you are not a complete thing, entity, then you have desires, right? A desire means that there is an idea in you that something more is required to make me complete, right? So, for example, let us say somebody wants a lot of money. What is the desire? That I will become happier if I have money, and therefore I will be more complete only if I have money. So, this sense of not being fulfilled, that is what leads to desires. And Ishvara is Purnaha, always fulfilled. There is no question of any desire for him, because all desires find fulfillment in him alone. Whatever he thinks of is already there. Remember, Ishvara is infinite. In the infinite, everything finite is contained. Therefore, the infinite entity cannot be looking for anything finite because already there in him. That is called Aptakamaha, the person who already has everything. So, where is the question of desiring anything? For such a person, why should he create?
So this creation, that's why we say that this creation is just the nature of the Lord.
That is why you say Lord doesn't create anything, because he doesn't need to create. The very fact that it is his nature, he also cannot help it, because Maya is intrinsic part of Brahman. You cannot say that Brahman desires Maya to be there. That desire is not there because Brahman doesn't have a mind. The desire for the universe can appear only in the mind of Ishvara. But Ishvara himself is Purnaha, he is complete. If he is infinite, what finite thing could he possibly be asking for? Because everything finite is already there in him. That is the status of Aptakamaha. That's why he says Aptakamaha Kaspraha. For the one who is infinite, where is the question of having any desire?
Thank you.
What is being arrived at from there is that he doesn't create the universe. He has no choice. The universe is there in him.
Hariom Acharya-ji.
Yeah, Kush.
Acharya-ji, so we can actually like use this as Mananam and Nididhyasanam, thinking like assimilating the fact that my own nature is Purnatvam and this whole Srishti is my lower nature, and there is nothing needs to be attained or removed.
Correct.
Thank you.
As long as you know what you mean when you say I.
Of course, of course. Ji.
The I cannot possibly be the RC.
Ji.
Okay, I cannot be the OC also. Why?
I was just gonna ask you, I cannot be the OC also.
I cannot be the OC also.
Because OC is already complete and OC needs an RM to think.
No, the moment you say needs, then you are saying it is not complete.
Okay.
So neither Maya nor Brahman can be said to be the creator. Only the combination is lower nature plus higher nature. That we saw in chapter 7.
Ji.
Both together alone can create.
But at this stage, for us to assimilate it regularly, how do we think about it?
You have to understand your real nature. It's a consciousness principle alone. And in that consciousness, the entire Maya exists. That is what you are.
Ji.
It takes time, okay? To be, just to be clear, just because you say 4 times that I am Brahman, that conceptually the idea may be clear, but the assimilation at your subconscious level, that will take time.
Ji, Acharya.
So that you have to give it time. Regular Nidhi Dhyasanam is the only solution.
Thank you, Acharya.
Okay, so let us look at mantra number 7. We will chant. So please unmute yourself. Nantah pragyam na bahish pragyam.
Nantah
Pragnam Bahishpragnam
No bhayatah pragyam na pragyana ghanam.
No bhayata
Bhayata
Pragnam
Pragnam
Bhayam
Na pragyam na pragyam.
Na
Pragnam
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 Adrishtam avyaharyam agrahyam alakshanam.
Adrishtam
Adrishyamagrahyamalakshanam
Adrishtam avyavariham agrahyam alakshanam.
Adrishtam
Avyavaryam alakshanam
Achintyam avyapadesyam.
Achintyam avyapadesham
Ekatma pratyayapsaram.
Ekatma
Pratyaya
prayasaram
Saram
Prapanchopashamam.
Prapanchopashamam
Prapanchopashamam
Shantam shivamadvaitam.
Shantam
Shantam
Shivamavaitam
Shivamadvaitam
Chaturtham manyante sa atma sa vigneyaha.
Chaturtham
Chaturtham
Manyate
Sa
Atma
Atma
Savigneyaha.
Okay, so this is one of the most important mantras of the Mandukya Upanishad. And some commentators even take it as the most important mantra in the entire Upanishads. On all the Upanishads concerns, this is the most important mantra, most significant mantra. And in this Upanishad and the Kaarika, in fact, Gaudapadacharya writes 200 verses to bring out the significance of this one mantra. This one mantra explained in almost 200 verses. What is the idea? That the first 3 padas is only anatma. By knowing anatma, there is no moksha. But this mantra defines Turiya Atma, defines Brahman. And the knowledge of the Turiya Atma alone is capable of liberating a person from samsara. So this mantra is very important to understand. And as you contemplate upon this mantra several times, each time you will find that the appreciation of the mantra grows, and you will be able to slowly understand the real impact of the mantra. What does the mantra do? It gives the definition of Turyam. Turya Lakshanam is the mantra. Now you might wonder, where is the word Turyam? The word Turyam is not there in the mantra. Right? What represents the word Turyam in the mantra? Chaturtham. Manyante Chaturtham. Chaturtham means fourth, the fourth aspect of Brahman. And in Sanskrit, Chaturtham is, Turyam is also fourth. The word Turyam means fourth, Chaturtham. And therefore, Turyam can be taken as fourth. Chaturtham is also fourth. But remember that this fourth aspect is not an aspect separate from the first 3. Right? And that's a very popular misconception, right? Because when you read this Upanishad, what have you done? You said first pada is the waker, is associated with Jagrata Avastha. Second pada you said is dreamer, associated with Swapna Avastha. The third pada you said is sleeper associated with Sushupti Avastha. This is the definition, right? What is the one common feature of the three? In the three padas, what is common feature?
Consciousness.
Consciousness principle.
And what is the idea being conveyed in each pada? The idea being conveyed is that in each pada, that one consciousness principle
Same.
is being associated with a particular state of experience. Correct? So you have first state of experience, which is Jagrata Avastha. You have another state of experience, Swapna Avastha. You have a third state of experience, Sushupti Avastha. And therefore, many teachers, many darshanas, from this they conclude, therefore, Turiya Pada is also a state of experience. And therefore, that's the name. That's why they say it's called Chaturtham. It is the fourth state of experience, consciousness associated with the fourth state of experience. And therefore, you will find that many yogis, many people, they talk about the fourth state of experience, fourth avastha. Just like Jagrat, Swapna, and Sushupti, they say this is Turiya Avastha, right? And because of that mistake, they equate this Turiya Avastha with Turiya Pada. Okay, now what do we say? To understand the Sthula Atma, you have to study the Jagrata Avastha. To understand Sukshma Atma, you have to study the Swapna Avastha. To understand Karana Atma, you have to study the Sushupti Avastha. And they say, of course, that is so. And therefore, to understand Turiya Atma, you have to study the Turiya Avastha, the fourth Avastha. Okay. And that is why you will find that certain teachers, they will conclude saying that at the time of Vedantic study, in which avastha are you?
Jagrata Avastha.
Jagrata Avastha.
Therefore, they say, how can you possibly know Turiya Atma? Because Turiya Atma can be known only in Turiya Avastha. In Jagrata Avastha, you cannot know Turiya Atma. And because in Jagrata Avastha only the first pada is available, therefore your understanding about Turiya Atma is only intellectual. And if you really want to understand Turiya Atma, you have to work for the fourth state of experience. The Turiya Avastha you have to reach. And then they use words like Samadhi Avastha, Samprajnata Samadhi, Asamprajnata Samadhi, Sabija Samadhi, Nirbija Samadhi, all are words borrowed from Yoga Shastra. So they'll say all this you have to do. And therefore, just learning about the Turiya is not sufficient. The Turiya Atma has to be worked upon, and therefore you should go into Samadhi. Then only you will have experience of the fourth avastha. This is a very common mistake. You must note that Mandukya Upanishad does not talk about Turiya Avastha at all. Even in the mantras, we talked about what? Jagrasthana, Swapnasthana, and Sushuptisthana, if you see the mantras. But we never talked about Turiya Sthana, because there is no such thing called a Turiya Avastha. You don't have to enter a particular Avastha. One thing, you can't enter it because there is no such thing called Turiya Avastha. But they say that only if you enter Turiya Avastha, you will experience the Turiya Atma, which is wrong. So that is what you have to understand. That the Upanishad doesn't talk about Turiya Sthanam or Turiya Avastha at all. What is the Upanishad? What does it say about Turiyam? The Upanishad says Turiyam is different from Vishwa, Tajasa, Prajna. The fourth, Chaturtha Pada, Turiya Pada, which is the Turiya Atma, this Upanishad says it is different from the first three padas. Vishwa, Tajasa, Prajna is different. At the same time, Turiam is present in and through the Vishwa, Tajasa and Prajna. Therefore, wherever Vishwa is there, Turiam is there. Wherever Tajasa is there, Turiam is there. Wherever Prajna is there, Turiam is there. And therefore, Turiam is available in all these three padas. Not only that, when the three padas themselves are not there, Turiam is still available. That means Turiam coexists with Vishwa, Taijasa and Prajna. All these three, they are Agama Apayanaha. They come and they go. Vishwa will come and go, Taijasa will come and go, Prajna will come and go, but Turiya never goes. Turiam is available in all these three states of experience. Of course, very simple to take a small example to understand. Gold is available in the gold bangle, in the gold ring, and the gold chain. The names and forms may come and go, but the gold substance remains the same. And therefore, the conclusion is what? Gold is different from the bangle and the ring and the chain. And yet, if you want to look for the gold, where will you look? You will look in the bangle, ring, and chain only. You cannot search for gold outside the bangle, ring, and the chain. You cannot search for Turya Atma outside Vishwa, Prajna, and Tajasa. Right? What is the mental process of the goldsmith? He sees the bangle, he sees the chain, and he sees the ring. But mentally, he applies a filter. He drops the names and forms, sees only the gold. What is the process for the Vedantin? He sees Prajna, Sushupti, and Vishwa. He drops the names and forms and he sees that it is nothing but Turiam associated with various dreams and forms. Different from the waker, different from the dreamer, different from the sleeper, but yet is there. So when you say that I am Vishwa, I am Taijasa, I was Prajna, what is common to all three? I am. This I am is Turiam. Any adjective added to I am man, I am woman, I am adult, I am child, I am happy and I'm unhappy, I am father, I am mother. These are all incidental. All these come and go. But the I am, that remains. That consciousness principle alone is Turiam. Okay, one more point. The three padas we talked about, we said that each pada contains pramata pramayam, the knower and the known. When I say Turiam is different from all the three, you have to understand that Turiam is different from the three pramatas and Turiam is different from the three pramayams. Right? So pramata pramayam yatiriktaha Turiam. It is neither the knower nor the known. It is present in both, but it is not the same as both, because both pramata and pramayam have got anatma association. So Turiam is different from the three knowers known as waker, dreamer, sleeper. Turiam is different from the three universes, Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti, Prapancha. That is the understanding that we must have of Turiam. Now to come to the mantra. The mantra can be divided into three portions. So the first portion is Nanta Prajnam na Bahish Prajnam. No Bhayata Prajnam na Prajnana Ghanam na Prajnam na Prajnam. That first sentence is the first portion. And as we will see later, this sentence, the first portion, points out that Turiam is different from the three pramatas, from the three knowers. Then the second portion is Adrishtam Avyavayaryam agrahyam, alakshanam, achintyam, avyapadeshyam. This is pointing out that Turyam is different from the three subjects, from the three pramayams, different from the states of Jagrat, Swapna, and Sushupti. The first part of the mantra pointed out that Turyam is different from the three knowers obtaining in Jagrat, Swapna, and Sushupti. The second part is pointing out that Turyam is different from the three worlds, the three universes known in Jagrat, Swapna, and Sushupti. And the third portion is Ekatma Pratyaya Saram Prapanchopashamam Shantam Shivam Advaitam Chaturtham Manyante Sa Atma Sa Vignayaha. That says that even though this Turyam is different from the three pairs of Pramata Pramayam, that Turyam can be found only in these three. It is different, but it is the very Adhishthana. So, in English, it is transcendental to the three, but it is immanent to the three. So, transcendental meaning it transcends the three, it's different from the three. Immanent is inherent, it exists in the three. Therefore, when we say that gold is different from bangle, chain, and ring, we are saying gold is transcendental. It transcends the bangle, gold, and chain. But when we say gold is the adhishthanam, it is the very essence of all the three, it is immanent. It is in and through the bangle, chain, and the ring. You cannot find the gold anywhere but in bangle, chain, and ring. So that Turyam I am. And if a person knows that he is that Turyam, that person is free here and now. So all our struggles are to know and own up that I am the Turyam. Okay. Now we have to come to the mantra proper. So there won't be sufficient time for that. So we'll take that in the next session. Right now, any questions?
Acharya,
Yes.
please tell me if it's too noisy. I'll type and stuff.
Yeah.
Yes. So what yoga calls Nirvikalpa Samadhi,
Yes.
is there any commentary in Mandukya which tells us if it's part of the three, if it's part of Jagrat Avastha, or is it considered something separate from these three states of experience?
The word Vikalpa, what does it mean? It means difference.
Without those.
Right. So when you are saying that it is Savikalpa Samadhi, you are saying what? You are saying that I am in deep concentration, but I am aware that I am in Samadhi. So the Triputi is present. The Pramata, the Prameyam, and the Pramanam. The meditator, the object of meditation is Prameyam, and the process of meditation is the Pramanam. Right. So when you say Savikalpaha, it means these three are present. When you say Nirvikalpaha, it simply means that the concentration is so deep that this distinction has disappeared. So it's not a different avastha. It is very much Samadhi avastha, deep concentration. It's in Jagrata avastha.
So when we said at some point that the Akhanda Akara Vritti has to happen in Jagrata Avastha,
Yes.
hence it could be happening in Samadhi?
No. No amount of Samadhi will tell you that consciousness which you are aware of is Brahman. That only Shravanam, Mananam can tell you. But in Samadhi, you can be meditating upon that. And since Samadhi is so deep, that meditation can cause a quick assimilation.
Correct. I'm not saying the source of the knowledge can be samadhi.
Yeah.
I think for someone who has undergone Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam process, once they, during these yogic practices, when they reach the samadhi state, that thought can spontaneously occur because of the Shravanam, Mananam, which Nididhyasanam, which has already happened.
No, the samadhi is always, the pramayam is always there.
Mhm.
The object of meditation is always there in meditation. So when you start off with the process of meditation itself, it is Aham Brahman meditation. You are saying I am Brahman.
Mhm.
You are starting off from there. All that is happening is that you are deepening the meditation to such an extent that all disturbances are gone. And therefore, the assimilation can be faster. Can be faster. Need not saying definitely has to be samadhi to make it faster. Vedanta does not accept samadhi as an essential part of, assimilation. It is useful, yes, but it's not essential.
Completely agree. So if Vedantian says they had this realization, someone who's been exposed to the teaching says they had this realization, and it was helped by samadhi also. It's likely they had that akanda akara vritti right after samadhi, maybe.
No, akhanda akara vritti simply means aham brahmasmi.
Mhm.
So you have to start with that. If you are meditating upon, let us say, something else, because samadhi is deep concentration, you are unlikely to be pulling out any other vritti. Whatever you are meditating upon, that is going to continue.
Agree. Just like when we talk about the chapter 6 of Gita, we say it's talking completely about nididhyasana.
Correct.
Assuming the starting point of the meditation was Vedantic thoughts,
Absolutely.
and it culminated in samadhi,
Yes.
where there is no divisionless state. Then, if a realization was to happen, you're out of that divisionless state.
No, you are using the word realization like the Yoga Shastras use it.
Okay.
Realization they use to mean something which happens in samadhi. We say it doesn't.
Mm.
That realization we call assimilation. When you are totally convinced that you are Brahman, without any doubt, that is the assimilation. That is the realization. Remember that the benefit of the realization is what? Is a relatively undisturbed state of mind. That is a different story altogether, okay? Knowledge, the understanding that I am Brahman has to come Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam. Shravanam, Mananam only, not in Nididhyasanam. When we say that Nididhyasanam, makes it assimilate more, is actually not the correct usage, because Shravanam gives you the knowledge, Mananam gives you the conviction that I am Brahman. Once that is done, you are a jnani. There is nothing more to be studied. But whether your mind is having no viparita bhavana, any obstacle which is coming in the way of your experiencing the benefits of that jnanam, that is what is to be seen. You cannot say that samadhi makes you get self-realization. No. At the end of mananam, if the mananam has been proper, you know you are Brahman. The idea that I am Brahman is what is called realization. You are realizing that you are Brahman. That is why it's called realization. It is not a mystic state. The mystic state is a thing which is propounded by Yoga Shastra. We don't say anything like that. We do say, yes, samadhi is very useful as nididhyasanam. Why? Because during the samadhi state, you are getting so focused that you are getting rid of some amount of your viparita bhavana. When those obstacles are not coming in the way of your jnanam, then only jnana phalam is there. That is why normal nididhyasanam is not samadhi. Normal Nididhyasanam consists of, number one, of course, meditating upon the teaching to drive it deeper and taking care of your Viparita Bhavana. One by one, you have to ask yourself, what is the obstacle in my mind because of which I am not able to get the benefit? Nididhyasanam is a long drawn out process addressing one obstacle at a time. When all the obstacles are more or less reduced, then you get the benefit of jnana. That is the what you call undisturbed state of mind. That is the benefit of jnana. So Nididhyasanam is not a process which can be stopped, because nobody's mind is ever 100% pure, not even that of the greatest jnani. So Nididhyasanam is a process which continues after Maranam till death. And depending upon the intensity of a Nididhyasanam, how much benefit you gain, how much your mind is undisturbed, that depends upon Nididhyasanam. That you have to connect to Yoga Sutra. Yoga Sutra doesn't talk about this at all. For them, it is Samadhi alone which gives you realization. That itself you cannot accept.
Yes. Very clear. Thank you, Acharya.
Okay, but with this we'll stop for today. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti. Om Tat Sat. Om Namah Shivaya. Thank you for your patience.
Thank you, Acharya.
Thank you, Acharya.